heading east again down towards the lake here. We're by 92 Brinkerhoff. Looks like with the signpost here, it might have been a commercial property at one time. And we have a big elevation change here at this crack just past the entrance sidewalk to their property. So we go carefully over that. If I didn't go slowly, you'd hear a very large crash. That's probably on the right side a little more than 3/4 of an inch, and on the left probably about a 1/2 inch. Please note the closeness of this tree trunk to the sidewalk, which is probably, I'm going to guess, less than 30 inches wide. So add some snow and you have an impassable winter condition. Placing the wheelchair user unnecessarily in the path of traffic. Now look at the poor condition of this sidewalk just below 92. There isn't one area here that you can go down with any kind of speed without losing gas out of your wheelchair. Now here's a common problem. I'm coming to the end of this block, and I remembered this from my trip up, that I got to this on my way up to the hospital today, but I could not go down this change in elevation. So I had to go out into the road because this curb cut is not really a curb cut. It is a curb. So we're going to go north on whatever street this is. I don't know because I can't remember. And here's what we're faced with to get around this obstacle. You either have to go all the way back up in the other direction, losing gas, or you go in the perpendicular direction, which is what I'm trying to do. And I see a huge elevation change here. Trip hazard, very narrow sidewalk near this white building. And this is on the corner of Brinkerhoff and something. Brinkerhoff and Pleasant. Okay, Brinkerhoff and Pleasant on the west side of the street. Okay, now we have this very steep pitch driveway, a very unsafely steep pitch driveway with a whole lot of rain gathered at the bottom. Definitely not safe for passage for an electric wheelchair. Not fun in a manual wheelchair. Certainly not good for people using crutches or walkers. And if you look across the street, there's no sidewalk at all. So how do you get around the lack of a curb cut? You keep going. You find another dangerous elevation change trip hazard going down Pleasant Street. Continuing to look for a way to get into the road where legally pedestrians and wheelchairs are not supposed to be. So here we are again with another very big change in elevation. This is probably more than an inch on the right and about a 3/4 of an inch on the left. It's near this sort of newly fenced area where it appears they're doing some construction on this home. I'm going to have to go over this very slowly. Okay, this home with this nice white fence looks like it's number 11. Number 11 Pleasant Street. And again we have this steep pitch in their driveway to get into the road. So what do? Do you keep going? Do you go all the way over to court, which is worse? Sidewalk conditions in court are worse. Or do you head down this slightly less steep pitched driveway and take your chances in the road? Well, most people in wheelchairs are going to take their chances in the road because they know the conditions of the sidewalks on Court Street are generally worse than the conditions on Brinkerhoff, even though Brinkerhoff is really bad. Getting as far to the left as I can, you can see there's a huge pothole here with a nice big white circle around it. I love those. I think that they're done like to point out that there's a problem, but then you can sit and watch for a year or two, have them go by and nothing be changed. And here we have this change in elevation here, which wouldn't be obvious with the cover of rain or snow. So if you're out in the road, you could hit that and harm your wheelchair, tip your wheelchair over. So I'm heading back toward Brinkerhoff in the roadway, like I'm not supposed to do, but I have no choice. So here we have a manhole, yet another obstacle. Well, manhole, drain, whatever. Now I want to show you, first from a distance, this curb cut, which is not a curb cut, at the corner of this street. Okay, so probably the lowest elevation here, I'm pointing at it, it's got to be about 3 inches. And the highest is probably 5. And that's the corner of Pleasant and Brinkerhoff on the west side of the street. So now you cross down Brinkerhoff, you go over these big cracks in the road. I'm going to turn around and look at those. And then we have, again, a horrible situation for curb cut. Again, it's about 5 inches high on this side. Then the curb itself is full of holes. This is like the curb at Prospect and Cornelia. And there's really no safe way to go up there in a wheelchair. So, again, you have to go out on the road to go around that to get back up on the sidewalk. And again, we're looking at very steep elevation changes with these driveways to get back on the sidewalk. Now, on a dry day like this, not too much of a problem. But you do see a big, more than 1.5 inch elevation change between the driveway surface, the apron, and the sidewalk. So the wheelchair user goes and they look for the lowest change in elevation. And it looks like the best one is right here in the middle of the driveway, which of course is a hazard if there's somebody going in or out and you're not paying attention. You go up, start heading down the street again, east towards the lake, downtown. Notice again how narrow these sidewalks are and very poor condition. You can hear the clickety, clackety, banging of my wheelchair. Now here's a patch, an attempt to put an apron on a sidewalk. Okay, it's fine when you can see it, but when there's snow there, you don't see it. It's a big hazard. It could have been leveled better. Again, look at the pitch of these driveways. You have no way, if you're out in the road, to really safely get up unless you travel for quite a distance. Now we're going to come on to a newer section of sidewalk here. So I'm going to stop the camera and cross the road here just to show you what the curb cuts are like on the other side. Because I know the sidewalk from here down is in better